What up? What up? I say, what up? We here the John Brown Podcast. John Brown Podcast coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Kick. Got rid of LinkedIn. I didn't even know what that was about. So figured that out. Got rid of it. Every day, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., giving you guys the sports talk, chitter, chatter. Happy to be here. Happy to see y'all here. Shout out to the chat pack checking in early. As always, before we start the show, first and foremost, I just want to say, if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to be a guest on the show, the John Brown Podcast at gmail.com is how you do that. I should probably go in there and check that. That's how you become a part of the show. That's how you send your long form questions and ideas. That's where all the conversation, the back and forth comes from. So shout out to everybody who over there doing that. Big ups. Big ups. Big ups if you've ever emailed the John Brown Podcast. We got another purchase. Ding, 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 ding. We got another purchase. Oh, that's the bill. Never mind. False alarm. Bill paid. All right. So on today's show, we got a lot to talk about on today's show. But first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been subscribing to get the 300 subscribers. Okay, we had to march to 300, and now we on the road to 500. Okay, we on the road to 500. I should probably fix this graphic. Road to 500 instead of Balboa Park Zoo. It should say the JBP. But we'll get there. Again, the graphic needs work. I know the graphic needs work. Shout out to the graphics department, which is me. So let's get to some of the business of the show today. But again, thank everybody for continuing to subscribe to the show. All the people new to the show, however you found the show, I appreciate it. A lot of you guys are finding the show via the Sporting Tribune, so shout out to that. Some of you guys are finding me from the show on ESPN Las Vegas, which I do a hit on Tuesdays at 4:45. Some of you guys are finding me through the Sporting Tribune nightly show, Sporting Tribune Tonight. Shout out to that. And so, just spreading the good word, man. Spreading the good word. Spreading the hot takes. Spreading the hot takes everywhere. Boom, hot take spray. Let's get down. Speaking of hot takes, let's get down to one of the conversations that we had yesterday with the home run derby. Well, I don't want to start there. Let's start here. We're in the NBA free agency period. And if you are paying attention to the situation that's going on with LeBron James, if you're on this show, if you're listening to this show, I'm pretty sure you are aware of the situation with LeBron James. So let's dance with this for a second, because initially, Rich Paul came out and gave y'all the whiteboard. The whiteboard had 10 to 12 teams on it. Rich Paul then, after the 10 to 12 teams on the whiteboard, came out and said, we've contacted every team, or we've been in contact with every team. We already know LeBron's not going back to the Lakers. We already know LeBron's not going to the Houston Rockets. We out in the New Orleans Pelicans. Like, there are teams where, what does contact sound like? When Rich Paul tells you we've been in contact with every team, what does conversation sound like with the Milwaukee Bucks or the Indiana Pacers? Like, so we know that's a lie. So then we get the whiteboard, which basically is probably the teams he's actually thinking about going to. Okay. And then we get the whiteboard whittled down to 5 teams, which is being reported closest source. Now you start hearing that word, sources close to. Now, when you see Rich Paul say something, he's literally LeBron's agent. So the fact that he has a podcast and he be out here talking like this is crazy to me, but nonetheless. So we get this podcast from Rich Paul. So Rich Paul gives you the whiteboard. And then you hear that it's down to 5 teams. Golden State, Denver, Cleveland, Miami, Philadelphia. Those are the 5 teams it came down to. And then 2 days ago, so today's Wednesday. So Monday, a ESPN report comes out that it's now down to 2 teams. Okay. Now it's down to 2 teams, Cleveland and Golden State. But then you get another report that is now back up to 5 teams. What? Like, these are, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you when you look this up how wild some of this is. I want to share my screen. I want you to see how wild some of this has truly gotten when it comes to who he's going to sign with. So, this is today's headlines, by the way. Let me big this up so I can read it to you. So, I simply put in top story, LeBron. I just typed his name, LeBron James. Just typed his name in. These are the stories. Okay? 19 hours ago, 76ers pursuit led by LeBron James, Maxey, Embiid, and Brown. Okay, Jaylen Brown. 20 hours ago, LeBron James landing spots. Which team has emerged as the star's choice? 4 hours ago, Kevin Durant gives his take on LeBron James' free agency. 22 hours ago, Timberwolves make public pitch for LeBron James. Hard not to be excited. Okay, 40 minutes ago, Timberwolves make pitch for LeBron James. 19 hours ago, the New York Times is Bronny James is his NBA future tied to LeBron James? Not necessary. 43 minutes ago, there's reporting no animosity between LeBron James and James Harden. Like, this goes on and on and on and. So you've got to know where the lie is. You've got to, if you are going to be a sports fan and you're going to sit through this with us, you've got to understand that these lies that people are throwing across the internet just to create a headline, because this is what they call the dead period of sports. This week is where most people take their vacation. Most people are not involved on television right now during this portion of the sports calendar. You watched that, whatever that was last night in the All-Star game. The World Cup pretty much has saved the sports landscape recently until yesterday when you saw that 2-0 snore fest, which, depending on who you ask, that was the All-Star game. Shout out to Cody Bellinger for being the MVP. We'll get to that in a second. But the people who are reporting on sports, who literally have nothing else to wrap their arms around, every newsroom, every podcast, every post, this podcast included, everybody thinks they have an idea of where LeBron James is going to go. His agent is telling you on television and any place that you will interview him, I should try to get him on this pod. Any place you will interview him, he's trying to tell you LeBron's making the decision. The decision's coming. The decision's coming. We keep forgetting that the version of LeBron James that these teams are getting, it's not the version that guarantees you a championship. This version of LeBron doesn't guarantee you a finals appearance. And this is the first time in his career, in the free agency period, that you can say that about LeBron James. Getting LeBron James does not guarantee you a spot in the NBA Finals. What it guarantees you is probably something like what you just got last season with the Lakers. So if you're him, do you want to put yourself in a position where you go back to Cleveland and they're expecting you to win an NBA championship? This idea that, he doesn't have any animosity with James Harden, I believe that to be 100% true. I don't think James Brown, I don't think LeBron James has anything against James Harden. He just doesn't want to play with him. It's not about not liking James Harden. It's about James Harden's style of play being compatible with LeBron James. And it's not. And that's okay. But they're not going to move off James Harden, are they? Are they? Because to me, I believe it's down to two teams, and I believe there's a third mystery team. Me personally. LeBron James has pretty much dropped breadcrumbs since the season ended of what he wants to do, what he wants the landscape to look like for him going forward in the NBA. LeBron James got a lot of criticism for saying that nobody wants to go play in Memphis. No one wants to go play in Utah. No one wants to go play in Milwaukee. He told you a couple of teams that people don't want to play for. But if you magnify that and you widen that out, LeBron James doesn't want to go play for the Philadelphia 76ers. LeBron James and his family live in California. His son goes to school in Arizona. His daughter is in high school in California. She's not moving. The wife's not moving to Philadelphia. That's all the way across the country. And I get it. These are the best of the best amenities. They'll have the best flight. They'll live in the best neighborhood. You know, they'll eat the best restaurants. It's the James family. Everything's going to be A+. Everything's going to be A+. But I'm telling you, LeBron's told y'all, I don't want to go to Memphis on a Tuesday in January. That shit sucks. His words, not mine. So what would make you think he wants to fly from Los Angeles to then now go play in Philadelphia, where the fans are, as you saw during the All-Star game, the fans are pretty rough. The team's got a lot of unanswered questions. He's never played with anyone on that roster. He doesn't really have a working relationship with anyone on that roster. That roster has 3 ball-dominant people already on it. And he doesn't know their offense. They don't know their offense. And at this point in LeBron's career, he's not your offense. So that's a 3-year project that's a 3-year project to secure a championship. LeBron doesn't have 3 years. LeBron has told y'all he wants this to be fun. Cleveland's not going to be fun. I have always thought from the very beginning, this was a 2-horse race. And then there was a mystery team in there somewhere. But I've always felt this was a 2-horse race. I thought it was Golden State or I thought it was Cleveland. I always thought there would be a mystery team because you have to look at something outside the box as a player. But the available places, he's already played. He's already played in Miami. And as I said before, the Philly situation, it's too new. It's too unknown. It's too much of a heavy lift. The other mystery team is the Minnesota Timberwolves because you have a star in Ant Edwards. You have a ball handler in LaMelo Ball. You have a defensive player in Jaden Daniels, and you have a defensive shot blocker in Rudy Gobert. You add LeBron James to that with Ayo Dosunmu off the bench and some of the other parts that they have. That is a competitive team where LeBron doesn't have to do the majority of the lifting. He can take a month off at some point because he always does that. So now in the middle of the season, he'll just, something will hurt for a month and he'll take a month off. He'll miss 10 to 15 games in a row just because, ow, I'm 40, bruh. And by the way, he's earned that. I'm not knocking him of that. He's earned the right to do that, to be ready he's been to 9 finals. He physically knows what his body needs to get him to the point if that's going to be the situation. If he goes to Minnesota, I'm of the surprise teams. I think that's the team. Shout out to Andre Prado. If he goes to Minnesota, I think that's the team that people should be terrified as the surprise team. Because Anthony Edwards is the dog. He's the 1A. He's the person in charge there. This is not a debate. Anthony Edwards is a better basketball player at this point in his career than LeBron James is. That's not a debate. LeBron does not have to be the primary defender on the post because Rudy Gobert will do that. He doesn't have to be the primary defender on the perimeter because Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards will do that. He doesn't have to be the primary ball handler. He can switch off of that because LaMelo Ball will do that. To me, that team more fits what LeBron needs going forward than Philadelphia does. Philadelphia doesn't have a definite star. By that, I mean, who's in charge of the team? When Joel Embiid plays, it's Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid's going to play 40 games next year? Maybe, if we're lucky. Is it Jaylen Brown? Well, Jaylen Brown just got there. It was Tyrese Maxey's team beforehand. And then LeBron James shows up. So any locker room LeBron walk in, just the aura, the voice, you won't have those problems in Minnesota. You won't have those problems in Minnesota. You won't have those problems in Golden State. So instead of folks being like, oh, it's down to 6 teams or 5 teams, use your logical brain as a basketball fan. And if you're not a basketball fan and you don't follow this closely, take my advice on this. If you don't take my advice on anything, take my advice on this. I think it'll be between Golden State, Cleveland, and Minnesota in that order. I think if he doesn't go to Golden State, there was some snafu on what they wanted to do with the roster, because I know you guys heard about them trying to trade for Anthony Davis. And then the Wizards said, no, we're not doing that. We traded for Anthony Davis because we want him. Unless you want to give us a boatload. And the Warriors like, we don't have a boatload. We don't have a boatload. And so unless Anthony Davis throws a fit to get out of there, and I don't think he's going to do that, that's not happening. And then the report came out that, well, LeBron doesn't necessarily need Anthony Davis to come to the Warriors for him to come to the Warriors. At that point, I knew they were the number 1 team. LeBron is looking at lifestyle. In the northwest part of California, some of the best golf courses in the world are there. That's what he wants to do. He wants to drink wine. He wants to play golf. Napa Valley and a lot of green grass. Ask Steph Curry, who's a great golfer, by the way. So imagine if you're LeBron James, you're at the twilight of your career. You want to play with a team where mentally everybody's got the same IQ level, Golden State. You have some type of awareness for the players on the roster and what they like to do. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr. You want to know, you want to be assured that there won't be any issues with the ownership when it comes to doing things. Joe Lacob has paid the second apron tax more than any other team in the league. Check that box. And you still want to be close to your family. LeBron James can afford any jet that they make. The flight from San Francisco to Los Angeles is 40 minutes on a private jet. He could literally live in Los Angeles. He could literally, in the game, do a press conference, drive to the airport, fly home, be with his family, wake up the next day, fly back up, go to practice. It'll be a 40-minute commute. With the flights involved, the driving from airport to home, you're looking at probably an hour and 30 minutes of commute. Some of y'all do that every day, back and forth. Some of y'all do that every day. He will be doing it in luxury. And then there'll be some days where he's like, hey, man, I'm just going to stay here. I'll see y'all when y'all get here. Every time they played the Lakers, every time they played the Clippers, I'm going to be here. I'll see y'all when y'all get here. That organization understands. They be like, all right, cool. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Hey, what about when we play Arizona? We play the Suns. You should stay home, too, for the Suns. Matter of fact, don't even show up. That's how this is going to go for Golden State. They understand what they're trying. They understand what they're trying to get and what part of the year they need him for. Minnesota is not going to be like that. Cleveland is not going to be like that. Philly is not going to be like that. Philadelphia and Cleveland don't offer any of the things I just talked about. Minnesota doesn't offer any of the things I just talked about. Buddy, you can't go outside in Minnesota in the winter. Damn sure not for no golf. You can't go outside in the winter in Philly to play no golf either. If this was about championships, if this was about getting number 5, if this was about getting finals appearance number 10, if this was about cementing your name, as the greatest player of all time, then yeah, I don't think Golden State would be on the list. I think the conversation would be Minnesota. I think the conversation would be Philly. But he's told you it's not about that. Prado, it's going to come down to how bad does he want number 5. I don't think he does. I don't think he cares. I think he would like it. And by the way, Andre, hear me out on this. People listening, hear me out on this. What if, brace yourself now. What if for number 5, he got number 5 with Golden State? What if for number 5, he went to a team that everybody thought was old, everybody thought was over the hill, past their prime? What if this Golden State team gets the 5th seed? They get into the playoffs. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, Draymond Green, Kristaps Porzingis. Who want to play that? You may not like Draymond offensively. I don't. Draymond can play every game from here on out if LeBron James on the team and never score a point, and he'd be happier than any point in his career. Draymond Green opted out of his contract and has not signed his contract because he's trying to get this done. Brian, you want to wear 23? Take it. There's certain portions of the Golden State Warrior organization. They're ready to move heaven and earth to make sure LeBron James can come play on their roster. Draymond Green is willing to give money back to have LeBron James on his roster because he knows if we get LeBron James in a Golden State Warrior jersey, they have a chance at the championship. See, now you guys may not think that. My computer does. You guys may not think that because you're looking at the landscape and you're going, oh, man, they're too old and blah, blah, blah. You just watch experience, and not even finals experience. You just watch experience beat the San Antonio Spurs, who were they had more talent than the Knicks. Experience beat the Spurs. And now you finna put the 2 smartest players left playing basketball on the court against the rest of the league in a playoff series where you don't need the bench. You don't need 9 guys. You need 7. You saw Bron against OKC. What up, Biggie? You saw Bron against OKC. Holding his own. Now you throw Steph Curry out there, watch how wide the court gets. You throw Kristaps Porzingis out there, he's the only, healthy. Watch how wide the court is. You can put Draymond Green as the facilitator with LeBron doing back cuts. Jimmy Butler operating in the mid-post. Who wants to play that? You get in the postseason, Jimmy Butler's now playing defense. Kristaps Porzingis is protecting the rim. Draymond's guarding, switching and moving, talking. Bron's gearing it up on defense as a team defender. LeBron not stopping nobody individually for 48 minutes or for 30 minutes or for 15 minutes. But as a team effort, LeBron can stop you on the last play. Oh, no, don't be crazy now. On a team effort like that, guys communicating, guys moving, LeBron can get a stop on the last play. Last minute of the game, they can lock you up. Now, the other 47, they're going to have to outscore you. They're going to have to outsmart you. And you think they can't? And don't forget, you still got Axelberg, kid you drafted out of Michigan. He's 23 years old. He ready to play right now. You got GP2, defense, lockdown right now. That's 7 guys already. You got Al Horford. That's 8. I don't know how much you can depend on him, but that's a vet. That's 8 guys already. That's 8 guys right now. Give me those 8 guys against whoever else they got. You also got Pazinski, who I'm not a fan of, but that's 9 guys. That's 9 guys right there. I like those 9 guys, and I like those 9 guys in a playoff series against anybody, and I mean anybody. Anybody. If he goes to Golden State, LeBron James if he goes to Golden State, me personally, I'm gonna take this short ride to Vegas. Or actually, I'm gonna pick up my phone. I'm gonna go to the futures, and I'm gonna put a nice chunk of money on the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA championship. Not to win their division, not to have the best record, nobody to win MVPs, not to win Coach of the Year, to win the NBA championship. I'm gonna put my money on it, because when you get that much brain power and that much experience and what's left over of that talent, all working together, you're cooked. You cooked. I think people forget how good Kristaps Porzingis is. I really do. And when LeBron comes in the building, all that, I'm sick. No, bro, get your ass on the court. Get your ass on the court. Give us 15 minutes. Bro, you know how many people going to be pulling the right people? Everybody's going to be pulling in the same direction, dog. That's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. We know Steve Kerr can coach. We know Steve Kerr knows how to push and pull with personalities, not necessarily young guys, but vets. Oh, man, what? Bro, I take a week off. All right, he come back, Curry, you take a week off. Like, they'll know what they need to get into the playoffs comfortably. And imagine the television ratings, because that's the real story. What they did with KD, must-see television on TV twice a week. That's what's going to happen here. Twice a week, you will watch the Golden State Warriors play on your television. So, yeah. I tell y'all, when you hear a lie, you have to know it in sports media. That's why I wrote that down there. Know when you hear a lie. Most of the stuff you're hearing now is just lies. Naked speculation. Nothing, no meat on the bone. Just people throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. There's no way LeBron James is still deciding between 5 teams at this point. That was the latest report as of this morning. There's no way LeBron James is still deciding between 5 teams. Look at it. This is 12 minutes ago. Look at it. We've been sitting here doing this show. We've been doing this show for roughly 28 minutes now. I went through this, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago. USA Today, for the win, their sports section from USA Today. LeBron James teases 2 free agency moves in one day, and neither was Cleveland. See what's happening? See what I'm saying? Know the lie when you see it. Know the lie when you hear it. It's a lot of it out there. It's a lot of non-truth floating around this LeBron James situation. Please know what you're looking at. Please know what you're seeing. It can get exhausting, man. The noise can get deafening. It really can. Shout out to everybody checking out the show today. I'm John Brown. If you're new to the podcast, if you found your way here through X, or you found your way here through Kick, or you found your way here through Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, subscribe to the show. Subscribe to the show. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We just got past our march for 300, so now we passed 300, and now we're trying to walk our way to 500. There was another thing that happened in sports, but also in addition to that, the John Brown Podcast Shop is open and available for you to go in there and buy something. The John Brown Podcast Shop. There's a link on my Instagram. I think there's another link. I think there's a link on the Facebook too. I'll double check that. I'm not 100% sure, but head over to the John Brown Podcast Shop and buy something, because that helps facilitate this show, because this is not free. This luxurious shed I built, it's not free. Can y'all hear the fan in the background? I hope not. Okay. Last thing on the show today, because like I said, this is a dead sports period, so This is how you know you're really good at it if you can do a show in mid-July. The All-Star game last night was interesting. 15 strikeouts. You heard that right. Yeah, that wasn't a mistake. 15, 1-5 strikeouts. I don't know if, because I thought the Padres hitting this season was abysmal. Maybe the league's not hitting. Maybe we've gotten to a point now where the pitching is so spectacular no matter what, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. Now, an All-Star game is weird because everybody plays. But combined, it was 27 strikeouts. Dylan Cease 3 strikeouts. Like every starting pitcher, with the exception of Brian Baker. Every pitcher that entered the game except for Brian Baker, who only faced one batter, got a strikeout. So, I mean, Mason Miller got out there for a batter, got him a strikeout in 7 pitches. 4 pitches, I'm sorry. It didn't feel big. It didn't. The All-Star game didn't feel like all the stars were. It didn't feel like all stars. There was no Aaron Judge. There's no Ohtani. And then you have some guys who are underperforming via batting average, as there's been an epidemic going around baseball, which just doesn't affect the Padres. The All-Star game just didn't feel big last night, man. The crowd was great. You know, a lot of people don't like the fans in Philly. I love them. I love a raucous crowd. But it didn't feel big, man. It really didn't. The game didn't feel like, oh, look, this guy against this guy. Oh, Ohtani against. Oh, we saw enough here in Southern California of Ohtani against Cease. So, but that's what I mean. Like the inability to see Mason Miller versus Aaron Judge. Like, these are the things that All-Star games are supposed to provide you. All-Star games are supposed to give you this feeling of you can't see this anywhere else. And it didn't. I don't know if, and this goes back to questioning if interleague play did this, but that just felt like a baseball game. It didn't feel special. It looked cool. A lot of the programming around it was great. But the actual game, the actual content of the game, it didn't feel like an all-star game. It just felt like a game. It felt like a regular game. Mike Trout going 0 for 3 didn't help. Like Cody Bellinger being the MVP. Okay. Only home run came from a Chicago White Sox. So it's tough. And I don't know if I feel this way primarily because the way the Padres have played this year, but I gotta ask this question. Has the Dodger dynasty really hurt baseball? Has the way that the Dodgers have gone about building their team hurt baseball? Because you can say whatever you want about, oh, this many champions, blah, blah, blah. They're going for a three-peat. And it's not like they're mowing people down. They're getting by. Last year, they were just getting by. In the playoffs, now that was fun. That was intense. That was high-level baseball. But in the regular season now, they're just getting by. Ask a Dodger fan. How they feel about this team. They'll tell you they're worried. They're just getting by. They're not hitting. They're not setting some record pace of home runs, or their pitchers are setting some record pace of strikeouts and ERAs. They're just getting by, man. They're just beating people because they're better. They got more talent. They've spent more money. So I don't know if the absence of this season, like the Jordan Walker story yesterday was so refreshing. It was so needed. The walk-off battle between Kyle Schwarber and Jordan Walker it was needed, man. Baseball needed that. They really did. Because what has really happened this year in baseball, other than guys not being able to hit? Like, you tell me. What's been your standout story in baseball so far? Because I know Biggie will tell you that the Giants stink. Like, the White Sox are fun to watch. That's not a World Series team. Aaron Judge has been hurt twice now. What's going on in Atlanta? Acuna's hurt. The Rangers aren't good anymore. The Astros have gotten old with cheating. Like, where's the other story? Where's the adversary? Who's the person standing tall against the Dodgers? Like, this last year didn't feel inevitable. It didn't. And then if you watched them in the World Series, Toronto should have won, but they didn't, because you got to beat the champion. They're not going to beat themselves. And saying that, now here we are again. A dynasty forming in front of you on the verge of a three-peat that has the Dodger dynasty taking the air out of the sport. See, that's what I'm saying. Andre Prado says, I missed the All-Star game, but looking at the box stats, I'm glad I didn't watch. You missed a lot of guys striking out. You missed a lot of guys striking out. 12 strikeouts on one side, 15 on the other. You missed a lot of guys striking out. You missed a 27 strikeout effort. So clowns. True indeed, Graham. Clowns. Clowns indeed, man. Clowns indeed. So it's tough, man. It's a tough place to be right now. It's a tough place to be. As a fan of baseball, as a intaker of baseball, this thing really feels like it's inevitable. And my question is now, has that hurt the sport? Because you see what's happening in Atlanta. The Mets payroll proved to be, not money spent well, just bad money after bad money. The Yankees seem to be suffering from injuries. The Cubs are a good story, but where is that really going? Tampa Bay leads the AL East, which, gross. Where's that story? Toronto's dead last in the East, AL East. What's the story outside of Chicago in the Central? Nothing. Seattle was the darling of last year. They're under 500. The Texas Rangers are leading that division. They're 2 games over 500. It's just not good baseball. The Angels got 38 wins. Like, Atlanta looks good record-wise. Philly looks good record-wise, but they've been banged up. I already told y'all Atlanta's banged up. Milwaukee's already proven that they can't do anything with the Dodgers in the postseason. And then you got the Dodgers. 61 wins. 61 wins. Listen, Raiders versus everyone asks, what's my thoughts on Argentina versus England? I'm Jude Bellingham all the way. I'm Jude Bellingham all the way. I think England can win this thing. I think England can win the whole thing. I thought watching the game yesterday, I thought it was pretty boring. That's why I didn't lead the show with it, but we can chat about it. I thought the game yesterday, the 2-0 game that Spain won against France, I thought that Spain, their strategy won the game. I thought they played great against Mbappe. I thought France had a lot of guys who could respond, but France's style of play, Coach talked about this yesterday, and it really rung true. Spain's style of play versus France's style of play, and Spain's style of play won. Their ability to possess the ball and France's inability to really get aggressive after them as they were possessing the ball proved to be the end of the. That was the death knell. And once you got behind them 2-0, that game was over, man. That game was over because the way they possess the ball, the skill that they have with the ball, the equal level of high-end talent that they have, the way that you're not finna disrupt that. You just not. So shout out to Amin Namal, or however you pronounce that name, the 18-year-old kid from Spain who said, they should be worried about us. What we need to be worried about them for? Proved it. And now today, when we go to Argentina against England, look, man, I just like Jude Bellingham. I told Coach this yesterday. I'm going to say it again here. Wherever Jude Bellingham goes to play, I'm a fan of that team after this. That guy's won me over in this tournament. There have been a couple of guys that have won me over. Obviously, what Messi has done has been unbelievable. What Mbappe did until he was eliminated was unbelievable. Haaland was unbelievable. I'm a new fan of Flo Balogun. I thought that there have been a lot of guys represented themselves very, very well in this tournament. Very, very well in this tournament. And now I've become a fan of Jude Bellingham. That's my guy. Shout out to Jude Bellingham. Shout out to England. I think England's going to win today. I couldn't give you a score, but I like England in this game. I like England a lot in this game. Oh, where's my y'all know what that means. Y'all know what that means. I like the ending music because the show's not over, but that lets y'all know the show's coming to an end. So yeah, man, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it tonight. Hopefully they'll give me something to come here and talk about. The game kicks off in about a little over an hour. Oh, wait. Hold on. I wish I had a record scratch. Hold on. One more thing I forgot to talk about. Nah, fuck it. I'll save it for tomorrow. Bring the music back. I'll save it for tomorrow. It'll be a better topic tomorrow. Trust me. All right, y'all. Let's see what we get tonight in the England game. That's all we got. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace. LeBron, pick a team, bro. Pick a team.